Welcome pilots to another Hunternet update video. In the last update video, I covered persistence and the first iteration of the new Hunternet test universe. In that video, I also said that the last technical foundation necessary to build out the gameplay for the test universe was multi-location support. Multi-location support is now live, so I'm going to show that off to you in this video. Let's connect to the universe. I'm gonna wait for my shields to top back up. Always best to be safe before heading out into the unknown. In the last video, I talked about how in Hunternet, when you disconnect from the test universe, your ship remains. It doesn't disappear like it does in most games, and that means you have to take the responsibility of finding a nice spot to hide your ship before disconnecting. Otherwise, you risk the chance of easily being found and destroyed while you're gone. So I took the time to fly my ship to the dark side of an asteroid here, and I'm close enough to the mass of this asteroid that you can tell by the blinking of my signature light that it is currently masking my sensor signature, which makes it more difficult for enemy ships to find me while I'm sleeping. Okay? In Hunternet, there are no safe zones. There's nowhere in the universe that is absolutely safe. There's different degrees of danger and risk, and it's up to you as a pilot to mitigate that risk. Currently you can hide in these asteroids, but another option would be in the future to store your ship inside of a friendly carrier. But then you would still be in danger if that carrier was to be destroyed. Even less dangerous, for example, would be storing your ship inside of an allied space station defended by multiple carriers. And even more safe might be to store your ship inside of a space station deep inside of friendly territory. But it's up to you to determine how much risk you want to take, and of course there's pros and cons. If you stow your ship hidden in an asteroid deep in enemy territory, you're more likely to get found out, but you have a more advantageous strategic position deep inside enemy space. If your ship does get destroyed though, rest assured, this game is not a game about grinding, and it's not gonna be designing it so you're gonna want to avoid getting your ship destroyed, but it's not gonna be this catastrophe or this huge annoyance. It's more about creating a universe that follows the real laws of the universe. It feels authentic, it feels realistic. You worry about supplies, logistics, positioning, and you don't have players magically disappearing, part of the army of the enemy just disappearing after they disconnect. Let's go ahead and bring up the navigation menu, and let me show off the new multi-location support. So in this location, there is a single jump gate to the deep space location. I'm going to go ahead and select it, and then you're going to see that my optical scope is going to show the location of the deep space jump gate. Okay, optical scope is now pointing towards deep space. It's 20.7 kilometers away from me. It's in the location of this green circle, but the green circle is blinking because the location of the jump gate is obstructed. It must be on the other side of this, the dark side of this asteroid. So I'm gonna go fly out, close the navigation menu for now, and see if I can get it in view. It's no longer obstructed. The little X shows the location of my nose relative to the location. It means I have to pitch down and then yaw a little bit to the left. And you'll see if I do that, you'll see that both my forward vector on the display and in the center of my view are now pointing directly at this jump gate. Okay, the jump gates are made up of 3 acceleration rings, and these rings will accelerate your ship to high speeds. The old speed limit used to be 3 kilometers per second. Now it's 7.5 kilometers per second. Let's bring the navigation menu back up. You need to be facing the ring and within 20 kilometers before you can activate the jump protocol. The jump protocol will also administer jump medication. That jump medication is important because otherwise the extreme acceleration of these rings would damage and injure your pilot or even kill them, right? The other thing is that we can turn on our broadcast signal, and by doing so, when we take this ring, any ships at the destination rings will get a warning and a heads up that we are on our way, which means they can avoid, they can use that as a tip to avoid using the rings if they want to maintain maximum safety. The other option is to follow the Hunternet convention. If you're leaving a system by a jump gate, you should take the outer sections of the ring. On return, you should take the inner portion. That way, if two or more ships are simultaneously using the jump gates from opposite directions, you lower the chances of there being a head-on collision. Although it's, this is a dangerous universe, and it's all about man versus machine and accentuating your skills as a pilot and leaving the risk-taking in your hands. So if you want to take a ring without a broadcast signal, you might make the authorities and your own allies upset, but you're free to do that. And you retain complete control of your ship while you're going through these rings. So if you do hear an impact warning, you do have a chance of moving out the way. Let's go ahead and take the ring and show that off. Activating the jump gate protocol. The meds have been administered. And I'm going to start accelerating to this ring. Since I'm egressing, I'm going to take the outer section of the ring. And once I cross, I'm going to get accelerated. And if I'm not careful, I will hit those rings. Oh, and I wasn't careful. I wanted to show off me barely missing the ring, and luckily this jump gate isn't too far away, so I'll head back over. But yeah, you want to stay on the edge of the ring, but avoid crashing into it. You can use flight assist through flight through the rings. That makes it a little bit easier, but with a little bit of practice, you can do it manually, like I'm doing as well. I kind of purposely risked that jump, paid the price. Okay. This time I'll be more careful. But yeah, this is a unscripted technical update. Here we go. About to hit that ring, and we're gonna hit massive acceleration. The meds prevented me from entering G-lock. Another massive acceleration. Final ring. I'm hitting 7.5 kilometers. My pilot's losing consciousness. Waking up in the new location. Since I'm gonna take another jump gate over there, I'm gonna avoid the last ring. And I'm not gonna bother going to the center because I wanna avoid it and power burn away. Make sure I don't crash. I avoided the last ring. That means I didn't slow up as much as I would have. But that means I'm now going almost 2 kilometers per second. I'm gonna try to line up with the next ring and take it at high speeds to save time. If this were my final destination, I would have taken all 3 rings. But since I'm continuing my travels, I'm going to save time by not taking all the rings. You can actually avoid all 3 destination rings and try your hand at flying at 7.5 kilometers per second. It's quite challenging. Oh, and it's this one, Saturn ring. And there we go. Okay, I managed not to mess that up. While talking, no less. My Achilles heels, losing consciousness. Waking up to the next location, and there's a jump gate over there to Harvester. I'm going to try to take that one. Second ring. Power burn away. And down. Okay, I avoided it. Avoided crashing. And make sure I select the Harvester jump gate. Align with it. If I was going into one of these carriers, then I might have taken the 3rd ring and then coasted at a more reasonable speed. In the future, carriers will also be able to take these rings. And in that case, the protocol, as described in the flight manual, is that a carrier is going to always want to use the broadcast signal in friendly territory because the chances of collision are much higher. And the other thing, you're going to want to send out scouts ahead to make sure that the other side is clear. But again, that's up to the players to be safe. These autobahns are fast and dangerous, just like we like them. Okay, am I heading in the right direction? No, this is a black corridor. Sorry, I had the wrong jump gate selected. Once I get within 20 kilometers, I'm going to activate the jump gate protocol at 1.8 clicks. Here we go. There we go. Oh, and I was not paying attention and got myself blown up again. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. I'm not going to bother flying to Black Corridor. I was glancing at my notes here. So as you can tell, multi-location support is now live. It works great. Each location has its own AI. It can have, lots of players flying. All the locations are hosted in parallel. They're all persistent. They're all interconnected. These are test locations, but there's a preview there's a separate preview video, and there's a version of it at the end of this video showing off some of the new, much more polished locations that Box and Yvonne have been working on. But now we have all 3 major technical updates that were required to build the test universe and its gameplay loops. So that's my focus going forward. There is one other technical update that I will do before we go into Steam Early Access, and that is Hunternet's version of static server meshing. What that means is at some point, as we add new locations and as the community continues to grow, we're going to reach the limits as to how many locations a single server is able to host, and we're going to have to split up the universe across more than one server. And the multi-location support has been designed with that in mind, but the feature hasn't yet been implemented. From the point of view of the player, things will still work the same. You'll still use a jump gate, fly to the jump gate, and then travel to that other location. But that moment when your pilot loses consciousness, instead of the handoff being from one location to another inside of a single server, you might get rerouted to a completely different server. Still, we'll have each location will only exist once in the universe, but it will be spread out, and that means we have plenty of room to grow. But if you go to a location, you can be rest assured that everybody who's in that location currently will be in the same location. You won't have invisible players in parallel universes. And that's it for this video, pilots. I want to thank the community, of course, the startup team, and the artists for all their support. And without you guys, Hunternet would not be what it is today. If you're interested in the project and would like to give it a go, visit hunternet.gg and you can back us there and gain access. You can also subscribe on the YouTube channel for updates, or wishlist Hunternet on Steam to get news on major updates. And enjoy the preview, guys. Stay frosty and see you in the universe.